Today I am bringing you a story about a fantastic adventure. The Horse and His Boy is the third book in the Chronicles of Narnia. It begins with a boy named Shasta. Shasta grew up poor with a cruel and greedy fisherman named Arshish. Shasta called him father, but he never really saw him as his father. One day, a wealthy Calorman, a man from the Tarkan palace, rides into the village on his strong war horse. The Calorman demands food and shelter for the night from the fisherman. This means Shasta has to sleep in the stable for the night. During the night, Shasta overhears a private conversation between the Calorman and Arshish. To his astonishment, the Calorman wants to buy Shasta and take him back to the Tarkan palace as his slave, and Arshish is considering it. Not only that, Arshish admitted that Shasta wasn't even his son. He found Shasta as a baby in a boat, drifting ashore in the middle of the night. Shasta walks back to his stable, not knowing what to think. You must not imagine Shasta felt at all as you and I would feel as we had just overheard our parents talking about selling us for slaves. For one thing, his life was already a little better than slavery. For all he knew, the lordly stranger on the great horse might be kinder to him than Arshish. For another, the story about his own discovery in the boat had filled him with excitement and with a sense of relief. He had often been uneasy because, try as he might, he had never been able to love the fisherman, and he knew that a boy ought to love his father. And now, apparently, he was no relation to Arshish at all. That took a great weight off his mind. Why, I might be anyone, he thought. I might be the son of a Tarkan myself, or the son of the Tisroc, may he live forever, or of a god. He was standing out in the grassy place before the cottage while he thought these things. Twilight was coming on apace, and a star or two was already out, but the remains of the sunset could still be seen in the west. Not far away, the stranger's horse, loosely tied to an iron ring in the wall of the donkey's stable, was grazing. Shasta strolled over to it and patted its neck. It went on tearing up the grass and took no notice of him. Then another thought came into Shasta's mind. I wonder what sort of man the Tarkan is, he said out loud. It would be splendid if he was kind. Some of the slaves in a great lord's house have next to nothing to do. They wear lovely clothes and eat meat every day. Perhaps he'd take me to the wars, and I'd save his life in a battle, and then he'd set me free and adopt me as his son, and give me a palace and a chariot and a suit of armor. But then he might be a horrid, cruel man. He might send me to work on the fields in chains. I wish I knew. How can I know? I bet this horse knows, if only he could tell me. The horse lifted its head, and Shasta stroked its smooth as satin nose and said, I wish you could talk, old fellow. Then for a second he thought he was dreaming, for quite distinctly, though in a low voice, the horse said, But I can. Shasta stared into its great eyes as his own grew almost as big with astonishment. However did you learn to talk? He asked. Hush, not so loud, replied the horse. Where I come from, nearly all the animals talk. Wherever is that? Asked Shasta. Narnia, answered the horse, the happy land of Narnia. Narnia of the heathery mountains and the thymy downs, Narnia of the many rivers, the plashing glens, the mossy caverns, and the deep forests ringing with the hammers of the dwarves. Oh, the sweet air of Narnia! An hour's life there is better than 1,000 years in Calorman. How did you get here? Said Shasta. Kidnapped, said the horse, or stolen, or captured, whatever you like to call it. I was only a foal at the time. My mother warned me not to range the southern slopes into Archenland and beyond, but I wouldn't heed her. And by the lion's mane I've paid for my folly. All these years I've been a slave to humans, hiding my true nature and pretending to be dumb and witless like their horses. Why didn't you tell them who you were? I'm not such a fool, that's why. If they'd once found out I could talk, they would have made a show of me at fairs and guarded me more carefully than ever. My last chance of escape would have been gone. Now look, we mustn't waste time on idle questions. You want to know about my master, the Tarkan Anradin. Well, he's bad. Not too bad for me, for a war horse costs too much to be treated very badly. But you'd better be lying dead tonight than go to be a human slave in his house tomorrow. Then I'd better run away, said Shasta, turning very pale. Yes, you had, said the horse. But why not run away with me? Are you going to run away too? Said Shasta. Yes, if you'll come with me, answered the horse. This is the chance for both of us. You see, if I run away without a rider, everyone who sees me will say, 'Stray horse,' and be after me as quick as he can. With a rider, I have a chance to get through. That's where you can help me. On the other hand, you can't get very far on those 2 silly legs of yours without being overtaken. But on me, you can outdistance any other horse in this country. That's where I can help you." And just like that, the unlikely friendship between the horse and his boy had begun, and the two set off together on a journey north to the free land of Narnia.